On the spring of 1999, Tele2, a Swedish telecommunication company, published an advertisement in a daily newspaper calling for competent programmers. The promised payout was a hefty sum of 5,000 Estonian kroons, roughly about $330 per day, which was more than what an average Estonian earned in a month at the time. The position was occupied by Jon Tallinn, Otti Heinla, and Priit Kazaa, a group of Estonian schoolmates and technology fanatics. They were founders of the Blue Moon Company, which gained its reputation for the video game Cosmonaut, which was the first Estonian game to be sold abroad. The Estonian trio, along with Niklas Zennström and Janis Friis, who were employee of Tele2, followed by the final piece of puzzle Toivo, worked to create the Everyday Portal. The portal failed commercially. As the profit was non-existent, Friis became homeless and stayed with Niklas. Reflecting upon their dire situation, the duo wanted to build something on their own. Turning their kitchen into an office, their attention came towards the Napster scandal in the United States while brainstorming for ideas. Napster was a peer-to-peer file sharing application, primarily associated with digital audio file distribution. For context, a peer-to-peer network is an information technology infrastructure allowing two or more computer systems to connect and share resources without requiring a separate server or server software. Audio shared on the Napster service was typically encoded in the MP3 format. Napster's facilitation of the transfer of copyrighted material raised the ire of the Recording Industry Association of America, which almost immediately on December 6, 1999, filed a lawsuit against the popular service. The service would only get bigger, as the trial meant to shut down Napster also gave it a great deal of publicity. Soon millions of users, many of whom were college students, flocked to it. Where Napster infuriated the music and movie industries, Zennström and Friis, along with the Estonians, hoped to cooperate with them. Kazaa was conceived with the very objective in mind. Kazaa's P2P file sharing program allowed files to be transferred directly from one computer to another without an intermediary server, similar to Napster in some way. The service, launched in September 2000, swiftly became one of the most downloaded programs on the internet. The popularity spread like wildfire, and the service picked up users at the rate of 1 per second. While half of the world's internet traffic was using Kazaa, the business side wasn't looking very promising. The service failed to seal a deal with United States film and music companies. To make the situation worse, Kazaa was sued for enabling piracy. The reason behind rejection was pretty conspicuous, as stolen music, films, and pornography were being distributed via the application. Kazaa owners soon found themselves hiding from an army of ferocious US lawyers. The risk of exposure led the Kazaa team to start encrypting all of their correspondence and their hard drives. Emails were not stored for longer than 6 months. No one wanted to know more than they absolutely needed to know, and Zennström changed his phone number as often as he changed his socks. Even as lawyers were engaged in legal battles over Kazaa, the creators of the software were actively seeking a new and less legally problematic platform for their P2P technology. The concept that would later evolve into Skype began to take shape in the summer of 2002. The project's name originated from a combination of Sky and Peer. Following the naming convention of platforms like Napster, it was initially shortened to Skyper. However, since the domain skyper.com was already in use, the decision was made to drop the R, resulting in the final and iconic name, Skype. On the 29th of August 2003, Skype was officially launched. Despite the groundbreaking potential of Skype, its initial reception posed an unexpected challenge. Communicating with a computer seemed awkward at that time, much like how talking to one's hand felt when mobile phones were first introduced. The initial iteration of Skype garnered less than enthusiastic feedback, chiefly owing to challenges like inconsistent sound quality. In spite of the shortcomings in audio quality and other issues, attitudes shifted among testers when they realized that they could communicate freely with people on the other side of the world through their computers. Skype conversations encrypted and impervious to interception, right from the beginning, rendered it an ideal tool for criminals. Their reputation wasn't getting any better as Skype started becoming a tool for laundering money from stolen credit card as well. But these reasons weren't enough to stop Skype's growth. In the first 18 months of launching, Skype had accumulated 23 million users. On July 2004, Skype launched a feature called Skype Out, which allowed users to call a cell phone or landline at a measly cost of 2 cents. The early success and outstanding functionality, coupled with minimal competition, drew significant attention towards Skype. At that time, eBay served as a primary or secondary source of income for 724,000 professional sellers in the US. In the hope that the voice-over internet protocol from Skype would enhance communication among its customers, eBay acquired Skype for a substantial price of $2.6 billion in September 2005. At the end of 2005, Skype launched video calling service, and by mid-2006, the platform achieved the capability to support 100 users in a single call. Skype had become the favorite application, amassing 90 million registered users by 2007. Despite its success, Skype took a markedly different approach from eBay, and the absence of synergy with e-commerce made it challenging for the two entities to stay aligned. In 2009, eager to divest itself of Skype, eBay successfully negotiated with Andreessen Horowitz and the Canada Pension Plan Investment Board, selling Skype for a value of $2.75 billion in September of that year. This transaction might give the impression that the company was losing its fame, but that wasn't the case. Major corporations such as Google, Facebook, and Microsoft were closely monitoring the situation, waiting for the opportune moment to acquire Skype. The resolution of the competition came with Microsoft's payment of $8.56 billion on May 10, 2011. FaceTime, launched in 2010, and WhatsApp, introduced in 2009, emerged as significant competitors for Skype, boasting a more user-friendly interface. Skype was still growing well, but the user interface and easy functionality on devices started to attract people towards the competition. At this point, Skype users were using Skype just because everyone else were using it. Even under Microsoft, Skype wasn't able to accomplish anything special. In the pursuit of improving the P2P system, which wasn't very reliable, Microsoft started running Skype on cloud. The decision would backfire, as cloud-based service started raising data security concern among the users. Skype underwent a rebranding as Skype for Business and was launched in conjunction with Office 2016, featuring a few tweaks to enhance its functionality. The outcome remained consistent with the previous state. Skype as a whole began to lose relevance, as the business aspect of the company was pretty solid. Microsoft shifted towards business conferencing, with the goal of replacing other business messaging and collaboration platforms including Microsoft Classroom and Skype for Business. Teams was launched in 2017. Teams' standout feature was its seamless integration into services like Outlook, making it an excellent choice for companies already utilizing Windows and Office products. Microsoft's Teams was packed full of feature, along with its improved video conferencing capabilities when compared to Skype for Business. Despite its robustness, Teams faced challenges in gaining popularity because its feature-loaded business conferencing capabilities were considered somewhat excessive for the average individual. This was clearly visible as Teams had only 2 million users at the end of 2017 and 8 million at the end of 2018. In 2019, Teams achieved a significant milestone by reaching 20 million users, marking its first breakthrough. The emergence of the pandemic in 2020 compelled everyone to swiftly adapt to virtual conferencing as a necessary and predominant mode of communication and collaboration. Zoom surged in popularity during that period, thanks to its user-friendliness, easy setup, and advanced host management features. Teams also capitalized on the trend, experiencing a substantial increase in its user base from 20 million to 75 million. While both applications were able to gain substantial popularity, Zoom stole the spotlight with more than 300 million meetings per day. Zoom emerged as the preferred choice for the average consumer, whereas Teams' integration of other Microsoft products and robust structure became the top choice for well-organized groups encompassing offices, schools, and other business organizations. While Teams rarely makes into the headline, the gradual growth of Teams has made it one of the best decisions by Microsoft. On the other hand, Zoom reached its peak popularity during pandemic and is gradually starting to lose its wow factor, which is clearly visible in their stock graph. If you're wondering what happened to Skype, it was still growing at slow pace, even when majority of population was involved in the trend of Zoom and Teams. Skype was still attracting new users and continues to do so. Skype on its own wasn't able to achieve any amazing milestone, but Teams, which can be considered as a mutation of Skype, is one of the top conferencing application. While the lack of flashy milestones may create an illusion of slow decline for Skype, its persistent and measured growth hints at a lasting presence in the digital landscape.